Smart TV devices like the Chromecast, Roku, Nexus Player, and Amazon Fire TV are awesome, but you will find that they're pretty limited after you use them for a while. Are there any options out there for those of us who want a little more from our smart TV devices? Hello guys, this is Edgar with MobileGeeks.com. Today we're checking out a pretty neat smart TV that reached my doorstep about 3 weeks ago. I've been using it ever since and I'm ready to tell you all about it. So let's jump into this review. You can tell right off the bat this is not the best built device ever. And it doesn't have to be, it's a smart TV. All it has to do is look discreet, and it has to look fairly good if it has to be showing in your living room. And the Veolo 4K accomplishes that very well. The Veolo 4K looks very plasticky, it feels very plasticky, but it manages to look very well with a slim design and a front power button that turns white when the device is on and red when the device is off. Now, something I do care about when I'm looking at a smart TV is what ports and slots it actually has. And thankfully, the Veolo 4K is actually pretty well endowed in this department. If we take a look at the right side of the device, we can find a full USB port for all those mass storage devices, along with a pretty handy micro SD card slot. But the real fun starts when you look at the back of the device, where you will find a LAN port, a full USB port, optical out for sound, an HDMI port, and actually a USB OTG port, which OTG stands for on the go. It's pretty much a micro USB port. And there's also an AV out and the power port, of course. If you were to open up this device, you would find a 1.8 GHz quad-core processor along with an ARM Mali T764 quad-core GPU, 2 gigabytes of RAM, and 16 gigabytes of internal storage. Now those are some pretty neat specs, and they managed to give this device the power to pretty much run 4K definition. But what's more interesting here is that it comes with Android 4.4 KitKat. And yes, we are talking about full Android on a TV, which makes it look like one giant tablet. But there's one problem here. This giant tablet doesn't have a touchscreen. So how does it actually feel to use a tablet or smartphone optimized device on a screen that doesn't have the most important factor, touch? Let me be the first to tell you that the experience is a little bit odd. Android 4.4 KitKat is simply not made for a TV, which is why Google opted for Android TV. But it actually can work very well. Let's go through the shortcomings first. You will find that the included remote is a total mess to work with, at least in this UI. You have to go from icon to icon until you reach the one you want to select. And if you go into your app drawer, for example, you have to navigate through every icon before you can turn the page into the other apps that you have on your device. In addition, apps like Facebook that are not optimized for such a large screen look horrible. As you can see here, you got these little icons on the top, small writing, and huge images. It makes for a pretty bad experience. But hey, let's stop focusing on the bad things and move on to what actually makes the Veolo 4K a pretty awesome smart TV. I would like to start by telling you that this thing has access to the Google Play Store. Do you know what that means for content availability? You have access to every single app that your smartphones and tablets have. And you can also access the Chrome browser, which means any service that doesn't have an app will be right at your fingertips. In addition, you can play files that are in your device or ones that are in other devices that you have plugged in via USB or via micro SD card slot. You can literally do anything that you could do on an Android device. And yes, that includes plugging in keyboards, whether it is via USB or wirelessly via Bluetooth, and you can even use gamepads. And while we're at it, let's talk about games. This is another area that makes for wonky experiences, as a lot of Android games are actually based on touch actions. And of course, this TV doesn't have a touchscreen. This means that you're kind of stuck to games that are fully optimized to gamepads or controllers. This shortens your list of available games by a lot, but there's still a handful of games out there that are well optimized for controllers and gamepads. One of them is Shadowgun. I had a lot of fun playing this game, and it worked just as well as it does in any other Android device. Now, let's step back a little bit and talk about touch functions, which are, of course, pretty much absent here. But AC Ryan makes this accessory that will completely change your experience. They call it the VO Navigator, and it's actually a replacement for your remote. It looks pretty much almost like the included remote, but this one comes with technology inside. It's a 6-axis gyroscope that allows you to use the remote kind of like a Wii controller. Now, this changes everything and makes for a much more intuitive experience. All you have to do is wave the remote around and you will see that the cursor moves around with you. Select any app that you want and tap on the select button, which is the big round button in the middle. You can think of this button as some kind of touch action. You can simply tap it to open an app or select anything within an app, or you can press and hold, and it would be like a tap and hold in any tablet. Quite honestly, I think the Veolo 4K is a horrible experience with the included remote, but it's actually a great experience with the VO Navigator. It makes me feel like they shouldn't have even made the regular remote, but manufacturing costs and all that, there must be an explanation. Now, considering all this, what do I think of the Veolo 4K? It's a great device. It has a lot of content, unlimited content pretty much. Anything you can find on an Android device, you can find on this thing. And anything that an Android device supports is supported by this thing. It works very well. The specs are pretty strong, and you don't find any hiccups or main issues when operating this device. The thing here is that it is priced pretty high. This thing costs $299, which is triple what the competition charges for their devices. This would be the Nexus Player and the Amazon Fire TV. And this is why I can't tell you with a straight face to buy this one instead of, say, the Nexus Player or the Amazon Fire TV. It's simply way too much money. I would recommend the Veolo 4K to those of you who want to have a fuller experience, though. If you have been thinking about maybe putting together an HTPC to have more features, more access to content, then this would actually be a pretty good solution. And for $300, you can't really go wrong. I mean, you would have probably bought a computer that costed at least $500 anyways. And this offers you pretty much everything that you might be asking for. And that will be everything for today, guys. I'll leave you here and I'll drift off into the weekend and enjoy my Veolo 4K. Thank you guys very much for watching. Once again, this is Edgar with MobileGeeks.com. Have a great day.